if you want to be a successful online coach this year, you have to decide what your niche is going to be, and that niche has to work for you. So today what I'm going to do is talk you through how to choose your niche, what the components of a good niche are, and why you need one in the first place, okay? So if you want to do more videos like this and you want to learn how to grow your coaching business, make sure that you like and subscribe. One of them's that way, one of them's that way. We're going to get into the video of getting this sorted. So why is a niche so important? It's important for a couple of reasons, okay? The first is so you can stand out. Everybody is on social media doing the same content, the same generic fitness stuff all the fucking time. So unless you are literally the most charismatic person in the world, you need to have a niche so you can speak to a specific set of people that's going to grab their attention because you're talking about topics that are extremely relevant to them. If you don't have a niche, your content is going to be really broad. And that's basically then going to depend on whether you're a fucking comedian or not. If you're a brilliant comedian and you can grab people's attention doing fucking anything, you'll probably do all right. But even in that instance, you will still probably do better if you have a niche, okay? So having a niche means that you're going to be able to stand out from the crowd and you're going to be able to grab attention of people and kind of get through the muck that is social media these days, okay, with coaching. The second reason why you need a niche is when you come to actually sell your product, if your product is a generic, regular fitness product, you will be priced compared to other generic fitness products, which means that, you know, if you do fat loss coaching and then Johnny does fat loss coaching and Johnny's £500 for 6 months and you're £500 a month, they're not going to work with you. They're going to go work with Johnny because on the surface of it, it looks like the same program, the same deliverables, the same result. They're talking about the same things. You're doing the same things. Why the fuck would they pay, 6 times more for you than pay for Johnny? They're not going to, all right? If you are a specific program, okay, if you work with a specific set of people, they're going to look at you and they're going to look at Johnny and going to go, well, Johnny's cheaper, but like, that's for like everybody that does fitness, whereas this is specifically built for me. This program solves the exact problems that I've got. It has the right things in it. He talks about the right topics. It's saying the right things on social media. So some people will still go here, but then they'll find out that it doesn't really work for them. All right. But most of the audience are then going to go, right, this is built for me. I'm going to do this. All right. People will always pay for things that they think are right. People will always pay for what they believe is the correct option. However, if you go generic, you're just going to get price match. So that's also why you need a good niche. And the third and final reason why you need a niche, there's actually loads, but I'll keep it to 3 so I don't fucking bore you. The third and final reason why you need a niche is because when you start delivering the program and you've got 30 or 40 clients, first of all, the culture of your business is important. That means having a business of like-minded people with like-minded goals that are trying to get to the same destination. If you're training every fucking dickhead, and you're trying to build a community with 65-year-old Dorothy who's doing fucking Zumba, with 24-year-old Jack who's doing fucking push-pull legs and snorting creatine before he goes to work out, you're going to be solving loads of different problems and putting out loads of different fires. Geriatric trainers are going to have very, very different needs and problems from 23-year-old office workers, for example. You want to build your program specifically around certain things. You're going to want to cultivate certain pieces of content. You're going to want to build certain resources that are specific to your target market. If you're working with anyone and everyone, you'll have to build a fucking app. You'll have to build an encyclopedia of fitness to coach them at scale. And I don't know about you, but that sounds like a lot of effort for me. What then makes a good niche? We know why we need one. What makes a good one? There's a couple of concepts that you need to think of when you come up to picking a niche. Things that make a good niche. There has to be a problem that you can solve. And the problem has to be important. It has to be important for that audience. Taking, for example, some things that people come to us with that I end up thinking are a little bit shit. They're trying to get people from good shape to in great shape. For 99% of the general population, they don't care that much. They're not being kept up at night. However, so this is where you can kind of get into intricacies of it, right? Going from being in good shape to being in great shape, 99% of people won't care. Okay, they won't care. However, if your audience is people that are movie stars or film stars or on the West End, people that are maybe in front of audiences with the top off, then it might actually be a problem because that might actually keep them up at night. It might actually be a big problem for them. But reality, 99% of the time, going from in great shape to even better shape won't work. which is why, again, specific audience, then it can start to work. So you need to piece these things together. There has to be a pain. There has to be a problem. There has to be something that is worth them paying you money in order for you to fix it. That's what you're there to do. You're there to fix problems for them. Okay? So there has to be a pain. Number two, they have to be able to afford your product. Okay? Now, this works on a sliding scale. They have to be able to afford the product, and you have to be able to find them. These two things are kind of intertwined, all right? Because yes, if they've got, not everyone has to be a millionaire to do coaching, all right? You don't have to do premium. I would always say do a one-to-one high ticket program, but for the instance of YouTube, there might be more people that are watching this. You might not fucking listen to me. I implore you do. I know what I'm doing, but you have to be able to find them. So if you want to sell £100 a month coaching, wouldn't recommend it. But if you want to, and you want to make £1 million, you're going to have to find, quick maths, 10,000 people. I'm pretty sure it's 10,000 times 100,000 million. Yeah, I'm right. Okay. You have to be able to find 10,000 people a year to sell that program to. Are you going to be able to do that? If you can't, you might want to go higher ticket because it's easier. Less people. You need to find less people. But you need to be able to find them. So you need to have those two channels. What can they pay and how many of them can they find? And these need to be able to add up to get to the financial position that you want to be in. You could sell £1 million program to one person. Yes, you'd have to be very, very good and very, very specialist at what you do, but it works. Now, for most coaches, you're going to have to find a solution where people will, pay around £250 to £300 a month, for example. So the audience you pick will have to be able to have that income, or at least have the cash available somewhere and a pain big enough to make them want to spend that amount of money. Okay? And then if you want to make a 7-figure business, obviously at 250, you'd have to find 4,000 people a year, I believe. That's quick maths that I might be wrong. We're going to put a real calculation down there. If I'm right, happy days. It means the amount of time as a physics teacher wasn't wasted. So those two need to add up. So pain, purchasing power, ability to actually find them, to sustain that over time as well. Remember, if you want your business to continue, you're going to have to find them year after year after year after year. So do you have a pull? Do you have a reason why that audience is going to look at you and think, yeah, this guy is the guy for me or the girl for me or whatever? All right. You have to have, find them, and you need to be able to attract more of them. And it needs to be a problem that isn't going to go anywhere. So if you were sorting businesses out, if you were coaching businesses, for example, through the COVID pandemic is fucked off now. So that was a business that, if you sold rubber gloves, those fucking, you know what I mean? If you were one of those guys, business was booming at that point, but there's a sharp decline, there's an end point. So try and pick a problem that's going to be here for the next 3 to 5 years, I would assume. That's not as relevant for coaching, but just as an overall business standpoint, that works really well. If it's short-term problems, there's lots of short-term money to be made, but if you want to build this sustainably, it needs to be a problem that's not going anywhere. If they come out with a pill that makes people lose fat without any adverse side effects, we're all fucked, all right? So let's just hope that doesn't happen. Those are the components of a good niche. So next we need to look at how you choose the perfect niche. Choosing the perfect niche comes down to 50% of preference and actual living in the fucking real world. All right. There has to be a combination of those two things. I've had people come to me like, oh, I want to coach Premiership footballers. Don't we all? Don't we all? Wouldn't we all love for Cristiano Ronaldo to give us a bell and be like, oh, I want to join your coaching program. I've seen that you posted content for Premiership footballers. I'm in. Realistically, is it fuck? So we need to have equal parts of preference and equal parts of just being a conscientious human and thinking, well, can I actually get these people to time my program? Is there enough of them? The preference side of it comes down to who you want to work with, who you resonate with, whose problems that you understand, and you have to understand their problems. If you ever sit there thinking, I wonder what these people struggle with, it's not the audience for you, all right? You have to put out like question boxes on Instagram, like what kind of content do you want to see? And you actually are using that to base your content off. Sometimes it can work, but most of the time you should know half of this stuff. What do you want to see in a program? You should know, all right? You should know the audience like the back of your hand. So pick something that you've either got personal experience with, okay, or that you are almost borderline obsessed with. Things that you are almost borderline obsessed with work really well because you will do the research and you will do the work and you will understand it to a depth that will impress the fuck out of the people that you're trying to help. You have to pick people that are going to resonate personally with you. I know that I'm probably not going to resonate with 45-year-old veterans of the fitness game with 5 kids with mortgages. Some will be like, yeah, I like what that kid talks about. But most of our content is based towards a slightly younger market, people that are within the first 3 years of the career that haven't kind of gone through the ringer. Sorry, but some have, and have an optimistic outlook on life. Because I'm very optimistic. I'm very like, shoot up here. I don't really want to convince people whether they can make it go with the online business. I just want to help people achieve the dreams. That's who I personally resonate with. That's who gets on well with me. They're the kind of people that I vibe with, which means that they're the kind of people that I aim for, because it's easier for me to coach them. We have a better relationship. We have a better understanding. And I actually want to work with them, which means that I will do more than I have to. I will make more calls than I need to. I will speak to more people than I need to. I will go out of my way more for them than I have to, because I want to, because I enjoy it. And I think one of the problems that I see with coaches is they pick an audience that they don't really love, they don't really understand in depth, and they don't get a proper buzz out of, which means that everything's effort. Oh, it's with these calls with clients. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I have to do that. And if you feel that way about your business, remember, if you are starting this coaching business, you're going to be doing it for a fucking long time. You're going to be here for a while. So make sure you like it. So make sure you enjoy it, make sure you resonate with it, and make sure you have a reason why these people are going to look to you and think, he's the guy or she's the guy. All right. So if you want to do muscle building for 24-year-olds, maybe have some background in building muscle. Have either, very, very good qualifications, have very good experience, or have a very good personal story in the matter. One of the three. Okay. If you don't have one of those three, you don't have to be all of them. You can be a combination, or you can just be really good at one of them. All right. There's great coaches who haven't got a qualification to the name, but have great personal experience. But you have to have one of these things: qualifications, personal experience, or a massive portfolio of previous work with the audience. There has to be something where they look and go, shit, that's going to work. And that's why we don't, you can build a business in something that you've got no experience in and that you're not very qualified in. But I just think you've just running into a wall, basically. And if you find yourself asking the question of, oh, well, why would this person work with me? Or people are questioning you like, oh, what credentials do you have to actually talk about this? It's probably alarm bells going there that you're working in the wrong industry or you've picked the wrong niche. Okay. So those are the things that I think you should need to have. On the sensible side of things, okay, you need to be able to find them. They need to realistically want to work with you. Okay. So you have to have the traits that they look to. If you're coaching, they're going to look at you as a leadership kind of person. So if you're a 22-year-old who lives at home with your mum, I probably wouldn't try and work with high-flying CEOs unless you are Rain Man for those people. And again, you've got one of those things. So make sure that you're sensible so you have equal parts. This actually can work and I can actually pull this off. This comes down to confidence. You have to be confident in yourself. It's hard to coach confidence in business, okay? But pick something that you feel confident in, because confidence and conviction will always bring in people and will always make more sales and will always get a better response from your clients.